For decades, picking the ultimate gaming display felt like a carefully balanced set of compromises. You'd have to give up something to gain something. But what if that was finally over? We're entering a new era of gaming displays. This is the MSI Mag 321 UPX 32-inch 4K Quantum Dot OLED. This next generation display demands a little bit of investment, but does MSI's Quantum Dot OLED deliver on its visual promise and justify that cost? Let's dive in to find out. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Chill Dad Reviews. If you're a tech lover, nerd, or gamer, you're in the right place. You're going to want to watch this whole video so you can learn all about what this monitor has to offer. So in this video, we're going to be covering about 4 main topics on this 32-inch 4K gaming monitor. First thing is going to be the unboxing. Second thing is going to be its features. Third thing is going to be how it performs, its visual quality, smoothness, and all that other fun stuff. And the fourth and final thing is going to be the cost, and then is it worth that price, and my personal experience with this monitor. Now, this does come in a pretty large box, but it is packed very well and it comes with everything you need. They do provide a 2.1 HDMI and a 1.4A display cable, and of course the power cable. They also provide 4 metal riser bolts that you'll need for a VESA plate if you plan on mounting this to a wall. They provide you the base plate and arm if you plan on using that stand. All right, that's pretty much it for the unboxing. Now let's talk about this 4K gaming monitor. Now this is a 32-inch monitor and it weighs about 14 pounds without the stand. The display itself is very thin. It's only a few millimeters. Now the back of the display is actually a metal material, but your housing where you have your cooling, your power supply, your ports, and the metal stand, that is going to be all plastic. And for the available ports, you have 2 HDMI, you have 1 display port, 1 USB-C port, and 1 headphone jack. And directly behind the MSI logo, you have your little joystick controller to access the menu. And then you have 2 buttons. You have your power button and then a G key that you can customize for different features that we'll talk about later. And then underneath the MSI logo, you have a little LED light for your power indicator. So I installed this display in my studio and I secured it to the wall with a bracket. I think it looks way cleaner and nicer. And if you want to see my studio and the progress and how I set up my monitors, I will put that link up here, or you can find it down in the description. All right, so now I quickly want to go over what is the price of this gaming display. So I could tell you what I paid for it, but right now it's a little bit different of what the cost is. I picked this up back in December around the holiday season of 2024, and I paid around $780. It was like a little under $800. It was on sale. I liked all the features and what it had to offer, and I've heard great things about it. That's why I picked it up. It was a gift for myself. And looking at the prices now and checking Newegg and Amazon, but as of right now, as I was making this video, I see prices ranging from $800 to $900. I don't know if that is just limited stock or for the political stuff that's going on right now. Who knows? As of right now, this monitor costs around $900. I also want to emphasize that a 4K gaming monitor is not going to be for the majority. I feel like only a small percentage is going to be going for these type of displays. You can get a really nice 1440p for less than half. However, in my studio, I wanted a little razzle dazzle in my studio here, and I wanted a really nice display that I can use for gaming, color grading, editing, and get all those really deep, rich blacks and vibrant colors and HDR and 10-bit, all that fun stuff we're going to go into here. So anyway, I just want to make that clear, and let's keep going with this video. All right, now we're going to jump into the menu system of this display, and then we'll start going into the features and specs that it has to offer. Now, the first menu item you can enable here in the menu system is a smart crosshair. This is just going to put a crosshair in the center of your screen. You can change the icon, the color, position, and then underneath that, you get something called Optix scope. This will enhance a small area in the middle of your screen. What I mean by enhance, it'll zoom in a little bit, and you can adjust how much it zooms. So I will showcase that later so you get an idea what that looks like. Now, you may notice that some things are grayed out and I cannot enable them. That is going to be dependent on 3 factors: whether you have HDR on, the resolution that you're using, and then FreeSync Premium Pro. And FreeSync Premium Pro is AMD's version of NVIDIA's G-Sync. One of the major selling points for this gaming display is going to be MSI's OLED Care. Now, they provide a 3-year warranty that includes covering OLED burn-ins. And they also bake in these protection features called Pixel Shift, Panel Protect, Static Screen Detection, Taskbar Detection, and Multi-Logo Detection. I was able to turn on the G-Sync on my monitor because I'm using an NVIDIA card, and it does work. It did enable, but officially it's not certified, but it is compatible, and I haven't noticed any issues with having it enabled. Hold up, let's take a quick pause here. If you're enjoying this video, video so far, do me a small favor, hit that like button, consider subscribing to my channel, put some comments below, let me know what you think about this 4K monitor, if it's worth it or not, and let's keep going with this video. All right, nerds, go grab your tissue box because you're about to blow your load. Here's the sauce you've been waiting for. This monitor has a 240 Hz refresh rate, a 0.03 millisecond response time, HDR True Black 400 certified, up to 1000 nits brightness, over 1 billion colors in 10-bit, and has a graphene film with a custom heatsink for passive cooling. This offers efficient heat dissipation with better thermal conductivity to further extend the panel's lifetime over years to come. Now, from my experience, I think the picture quality is superb. It offers some brilliant and punchy colors, some really deep blacks, excellent contrast, and buttery smooth motion when you're watching movies, videos, and playing games. Everything I'm showing here is being powered by NVIDIA's RTX 5080 with medium to high settings and none of that DLSS upscaling BS, straight native 4K. This has a frameless design with slim bezels, which not only looks great and offers more real estate, but it's also especially important for multiple monitor setup so you can get a more seamless viewing experience across all the monitors. And the screen has a glossy finish on it, so if you do touch it, you will see those smudges. And additionally, if you have a light source at a weird angle above your desk, then you will get a glare in your face. And here's a few tests on ghosting, pixel response, motion blur, and multiple frame rates. Here I'm showing you the Optix scope feature enabled. I was playing some Warzone with it, testing it out, and you can change the scope size, which is just the size of the box, so you can go small, medium, or large, and then the ratio, which is going to be an x1.5, an x2, an x3, so essentially just how much you're going to zoom in. I mean, it looks cool. I think you can use it sometimes, but let's be honest, if you're playing most FPS or shooter games, you're not really going to be using this, and I don't think it's worth turning off HDR to get this. So this is what it looks like, this is what it does. You can judge whether or not it's going to be worth it for you. And those other two modes that are disabled, one of them being the night vision, is going to try enhance really dark areas on the screen. So if you're playing a game and there's a really dark corner and there's like an enemy hiding there, it's going to try to brighten it up without overexposing it so you can see better. I don't know, seems kind of gimmicky to me. And then they have AI vision, which is going to enhance the overall color and visual quality. Once again, AI, they're just throwing it out there and trying to make it sound like it's amazing. I don't really see a need for this. I think it's all just marketing nonsense. So all these different protection features is going to try to look at what's on the screen to detect if you have a logo that's in the same spot for too long, you know, the taskbar, certain things and static images that are just there for, you know, multiple hours, that obviously is going to create that burn-in on your OLED. And it will also automatically shift the pixels. It'll pop up on your screen like, hey, warning, we recommend that you do a pixel shift. This is like a pixel refresh and maintenance for all the millions and different little bulbs in the OLED panel, which is going to help with the longevity and minimize the OLED burn-in. Now, I do want to let you know you can perform firmware updates on this monitor using DisplayPort. I tested it myself and it did work. However, I did find out that if you're on an older firmware, there's a certain version, then you have to send the whole monitor back to MSI in order to update the firmware. So if you happen to buy a monitor that was sitting on the shelf for months and you're just that unlucky one, if you want the latest and greatest fixes, you're gonna have to send the whole monitor back to MSI. That could be a little bit annoying, but yeah, just want to share that little bit of information with you. All right, so that covers all the main things with this 4K gaming monitor. So like I said, I've had this monitor for multiple months in my studio and I've been using it as my daily driver for everything. I haven't had any major issues with it. The only thing I did run into is when I turned on my PC, the monitor would not turn on with it. There's actually a setting on there called power off that you actually have to adjust in order to turn the monitor completely off or standby. Anyway, once I flipped that setting, then it would power on with my PC. But other than that, I think this is an amazing display. Everything I've thrown at it in the last few months, I mean, it just looks gorgeous. I mean, it's so hard to put into words in this video unless you actually see it and try it for yourself. Every game I played, I mean, it's just like, it's just eye candy. I mean, just all the colors. I mean, the dynamic range is just insane. I mean, that 240 hertz is like, oh my God, it's a game changer. I'm telling you, people can say, oh, it doesn't matter. Try 60 hertz and try 240 hertz. Oh my God, it's night and day. I'm telling you, it's night and day. It really does make a difference when you're, seeing really fast motion or playing really fast paced games. It absolutely does make a difference. As of right now, I don't have anything negative to say about the way it looks and feels when I use it. I mean, I think some of it's subjective, to visual quality in your eyes and, what you like to see. Yeah, so far I'm happy with it. Now, there are a few cons and negatives with this monitor. It's not really a factor for me, but for other people, I just want to make you aware of it so you can make the right decision if you do decide to purchase this monitor. Now, the first thing and the biggest downside is not really related to MSI in any way. It's really just 4K resolution. It doesn't matter, whatever computer you're using, but the 4K resolution is not really good for text. It looks very small and tiny, and you have to squint if you have bad eyes. In Windows, you actually have to magnify. You have to turn up the magnification so that way the text is a little more readable. Otherwise, it looks microscopic. So the 4K resolution is not going to be great for people who have a hard time seeing, especially small text. Just be aware of that if you're looking for a 4K monitor. Playing games, you're fine, but any kind of text related stuff, don't do it. Now, the second thing is going to be OLED technology. And once again, this is not related to MSI in any way. OLED just has a natural burn-in, risk to it. It's just part of the technology. If you're the type of person who's not really careful, you don't really pay attention, just walk away from the computer, leave it running for multiple hours, and you left some static image, after 3 years, you're kind of on your own. So just be aware of that. You got to be careful and be on top of it. And next on the list is going to be a lack of a KVM and USB ports. You're only going to get that one USB-C port, and it's only 15 watts. So if you want a higher power delivery, unfortunately, you're not going to be able to get that. I think a KVM would have been nice, especially for this price range. And if you are a person who has multiple devices or computers on your setup, yeah, not going to work for you. You're going to have to spend well over $1,000 to get that. And last thing, minor, I don't really care for it, but there's no built-in speakers. I mean, if you're relying on built-in speakers for 4K monitor, you got bigger problems. So for me personally, I paid under $800, and I think it's totally worth it. If you're going to be comparing it to some of the higher end gaming monitors from Samsung, Asus, and Alienware, those cost well over $1,000. This doesn't have all those bells and whistles and all those features that they offer. However, I think it's worth it for this mid-range 4K gaming monitor, for what it looks like and what it can do. All right, I don't have anything else to share with you about this gaming monitor, but if you are interested in learning more, you can find the link in the description. Just remember, this is an affiliated link, so if you do decide to purchase this gaming monitor using my link, it does help support the channel at no cost to you. All right, everybody, I hope you have a great one, and I'll catch you on the next one.